can't tell you how excited I am really to be back involved in it again. Obviously, John has given me this sort of opportunity to help him in hopefully a successful season. Obviously, trying to get up as quick as we possibly can back into into the EFL. Really looking forward to it. To be perfectly honest, it's really an exciting time.
So you will head the recruitment, and that's an area that obviously is vital to the success of any club.
Yeah.
To scout, up and coming players, and also to take a look at the opposition coming in.
Of course, yeah. I think the brief is obviously to not only look at teams that we've got coming up, but obviously looking at players obviously in the non-league sort of area, as well as looking at players within the leagues 1 and 2. Obviously looking for players that can benefit to John and the squad to make us as strong as we possibly can. Obviously the manager's got his eyes on 1 or 2 players obviously that he knows himself, but obviously the more info we can get and the more information on players, the better it's going to be.
You're not unfamiliar to Chesterfield fans, of course, because you had a spell as a player here.
I did. I had a 2-year spell. I think it was 85 till 87 under the leadership of John Duncan, and I joined obviously after the really successful team that they had that won the old 4th division sort of title, broke all the records. So at the time it was a really good move for me, moving across from Sheffield Wednesday. So it was a good time. Managed to buy a house over here, and my daughter was born over here. So yeah, she's. We keep reminding her that she's Derbyshire and not Yorkshire like I am.
And who are you in touch with still from those times?
Still very good friends with Les Hunter, who we ended up buying a house together, or not together, but on the same estate out at Wingerworth, and Les still lives there to this day. And he's just a really good friend that we've managed to keep in touch with over, 30 odd years or whatever it's been. So yeah, family and both good friends, really good friends.
And how did the move to here come about with John Sheridan approaching?
It was an opportunity, purely by chance really. It was a phone call. It was a discussion that we had, a telephone conversation, and obviously John recognises, he knows me from way back when John was a player at Sheffield Wednesday. I used to sort of head the community scheme before I went into the youth development side, so we always knew that I was always around that sort of area and youth teams, and obviously he's given me the chance to come along and join the team, and I'm more than happy to do so. It's a great opportunity for me coming back to one of my home clubs as well. Really excited.
So the development of up and coming players is certainly something that you're very interested in.
I've always been very passionate. I mean, to be perfectly honest, in my younger years, I didn't really have any sort of aspirations to manage or do anything as such. I've always had a major interest in sort of developing. Well, it's nice to see players develop into better players or whatever, and make that push onto the first team area. I mean, it goes without saying that not every player is going to be successful in that, but you give them the best possible opportunities to do that, and that's where I get most reward from anyway.
Now, you worked under some high profile figures at the start of your career.
Some interesting characters.
At Sheffield Wednesday. So who particularly inspired you back then?
Well, to be honest, in my playing career, I did play under Jack Charlton for 5 years, and then obviously had a couple of years with Howard Wilkinson before I came to Chesterfield. I had a spell on loan at Southend where I played under Bobby Moore. So I've played under some really sort of high profile sort of people, really. I mean, Howard was the one that sticks out in terms of the physicality of the training regimes and such, and it was just sort of that we was like sort of privy to his first years at this sort of regime that he had running. He's renowned for running, Howard, but obviously Jack was the one that was a little bit more sort of headstrong, and he did it his way and no other way. It was quite interesting, actually.
So you take on this wide-ranging role, so plenty to get stuck into.
Oh yeah, plenty to go at. It's not gonna, I mean, every sort of day there's going to be something to do, and if I'm not on the coaching field with the sort of the group, that obviously the development group, there's going to be games to watch evenings and weekends. So yeah, the time's going to be pretty much filled. It's going to be, like I say, keep saying the word exciting, but I'm really ready to get going. Can't wait to get in at the end of the month when all the players are back and get settled in and get ready.
When we talk about the development group, because it's something that's quite new for the club, can we just explain what type of players are they? Sort of first year pros that'll be in there?
It's I think the manager's looking at the development group as a group of players, 18, 19-year-olds. Obviously, within the structure of the football club at Chesterfield already, you've got the youth team that ranges between 16 and 18. We're going to have a basis of players of 18, 19 that hopefully are going to push into that sort of first team area. We're going to be playing games very, very regularly. The plan of action is to try and play games weekly, because I think the manager identified that during the week there was quite a lot of players on the staff that, even though they were training every day, weren't actually sort of getting the game time. So obviously I think the managers eventually sort of cut down the squad a little bit with the intentions of hopefully infilling with some of these younger players, and obviously then from within, where John Napper in that area, sort of the younger area, we're going to be bringing players through, hopefully 16, 18, that the ones that are good enough can obviously make that little step up to the next level. And I think it's nice to have that little area of progression, so you do get rewarded for being a little bit successful. And I think that's the way that we're going to try and look at it, I think.
So how important is that for the emerging players to get that game time?
Well, I think for all the training and all the information that you can get and all the structure that you get, there's no substitute for that hour and a half on a Saturday or in a midweek. They definitely need that game time, and obviously the way that we're looking at it or trying to plan it will obviously give them more game time than what they've been used to. So for me, it can only be a good thing. But like I say, the way that the structure is it'll probably give one or two of these younger players a little chance to progress a little bit higher. So the youth team, as such, like I've mentioned, can jump into that development squad. And then obviously the development squad, we're looking to try and push towards the first team. And it's nice if they get an involvement during the week as well, to train in and around as a big group. It's always nice as a reward, if you've been doing all right as a young player, to be in and around that first team. It does give you a bit of a rush at the times, which is good for them.
And of course, from your time at Sheffield Wednesday in the academy, you'll have seen some players emerge and go into the first team and go on to have successful careers. So how rewarding is that for you personally?
Well, on a personal note, I think that you set off with all intentions of trying to get as many players through into that first team as you possibly can. I mean, what happens after they leave you into that first team structure is obviously sort of beyond your control. I mean, you can give them the tools and obviously they go away. Some of them are successful, some of them, like I said, are not always successful. And sometimes they're not always successful at the club that you've been coached at. Being at a high-profile club like Sheffield Wednesday, it was always the chance that the players that were going to get released because of the grounding that they'd had or the coaching that they'd had, not just necessarily me, but the staff in general, they were always able to probably filter down into even if it went into the lower leagues. So it did give an opportunity to obviously earn a living as pro footballers, which it's got to be rewarding. That's the most rewarding part for me.
And looking at the recruitment side, obviously contacts are vital, and you've got a wealth of contacts when the game. No doubt your phone has been busy already. It's
ringing off the hook, and it's interesting really, because a lot of the local clubs that I've dealt with at the moment are all sort of ex-players that I used to coach within the academies. You Stephen Aslam's at Sheffield Wednesday and Matt Hampshire, who's at Rotherham and stuff. So they're all players that I've known a hell of a long time. So obviously I'll be calling on them to get as much information as I possibly can. Obviously about players that they've been releasing at this time of year as well. So I've already formulated the lists, and we're just in the process of having a look at them as we speak.
And no doubt some of the local clubs as well will want to get some of the younger players out on loan, so that always helps.
I'm sure that's the case. I mean, I've already had, like I've just mentioned, I've already had the list from the local clubs of players that potentially they want to try and get out on loan. And I think again, as part of their development, rather than probably not playing as much as what they would normally do. I mean, it's a great learning curve for people to come to places like Chesterfield. I know that we're not quite in that football league yet. I know we're in the National League, but what a great opportunity for someone to come and have a full season at this level, playing against some of the teams that's in that league. It's going to be a lot better for them than just playing the normal sort of youth team sort of level week in, week out. I know where I'd rather be.
Well, I wish you all the best in your new role, Charlie.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.